Okay. So what are the other things on the list that they say they believe why we?
That was pretty much. I got to the end. I mean,
we had the first thing, which was the skin, the sun, and the skin. But then there's the birthing thing that they think is
but basically just because the head is so big, and if you think about it, I mean, all the other animals come out pretty much proportionate. But if you think about it, you look at a baby. What the hell's going on with that? And the head is the same length as the rest of the body for the most part. I mean, it looks like when you look at a gray alien, how gigantic the head is compared to the body. In a way, I mean, it's slightly disproportionate, but I mean, you look at a baby, it's like that.
Yeah,
so,
but we grow into what we are,
do,
though.
but all the other animals don't. If you look at other animals, they're almost proportionate, and they just grow bigger.
Well,
but a baby is the tiny little body, and the head is big, and then eventually the body starts growing longer.
Well, I think that's just because when we are born, we're not as developed as most
animals. and that's another big red alert.
Well, because
like a giraffe can be born and it can walk in a couple of minutes.
It has to.
Yeah, and a baby. No, it's like not even fucking close.
No. It needs to be cared for about at least 2 years.
And that's why some people say it's like
even past then. We, as humans, we cannot protect ourselves until we turn the age of 18 when we are allowed to finally smoke. Yeah. You know, or even then, we can't even protect ourselves until the age of 21 when we can.
The only thing we can do to protect ourselves is use a stick or a spear. And when all the other animals have teeth, claws, armor on their skin already, they have camouflage. I mean, you look at the octopus; it can change its color. It's all these things. I know, but that's a sea animal. But it's no. But it's Earth. But and we are not.
Well, it's just the way of animals, though. That's our way that we do it. We are grouping animals. We defend ourselves in groups.
Yeah, but that's to say that we are not animals. That we're separate from animals. And I was thinking, it's like if we are a species, if Earth just started all by itself and then life happens, why are we completely different from the animals? Why are we separate from? Why are we not an animal?
Well, we are animals.
Well, then how come?
We are a type of animal.
Then how come I none of us ever has had the ability to change color like the octopus, or have armor, or have super sharp fangs, or claws instead of these stupid fingernails? How come we don't? How come we're not covered in hair?
Because we don't need to. Actually, we're not covered in hair because of the ability to sweat, to release our heat from our body. No other animal
it's
can
not
do
enough
that.
It's not enough when we're in the desert. I'm just saying.
Not to a point, but we can last a lot longer than most animals. And like, if you were to take a dog right now to a desert, that dog will die.
Yeah, it's probably more appropriate if we were on Mars. That's what I'm getting. Is like our physique is probably way better as if we were on a different planet. It just doesn't work so much. It feels so foreign when you think about it. I mean, we got our buildings and we got cars, and so we don't think about it that way anymore. But when you think about way back when we're running around on the plains and being in the jungle and all that, it's like we are so different from the rest of life that we are excluded almost. We have way more to worry about, you know. We
do, but there are animals out there with problems, though.
Oh yeah,
they will die if they don't have certain defenses and mechanisms that they have. Because I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get to the point. I'm trying to find something right now that tells me that 100% does not make sense. The whole birthing factor, it's like, that's weird, but I think that's just so we can protect ourselves more than child.
Well,
we only give ourselves 9 months, or is it 10 months, to actually have a baby in our belly. That way we can get that baby out and protect ourselves from dying.
Yeah, but
even though that's too
but the other animals
for the baby.
But the other animals go through a term similar in that it's a different amount of months.
Like we just learned
but then the baby can walk.
But right away. Well, the giraffe. How long was the giraffe pregnant for? Like 14 months or some shit like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It was a long time, and that draft is almost fully developed when it comes out. And it has problems walking because it's trying to.
But if a 14-month baby, if a baby, if it stayed in there for a little bit longer, it's still not going to be that much bigger.
Not really.
It can't do nothing. Yeah. It can't walk on its own. It can't crawl around.
But that's the same thing for let's look at a turtle. Turtles, when they lay eggs and they hatch them, they usually lay a lot of eggs.
Yeah.
My headphones are falling.
For survival purposes,
exactly.
They have so many.
Because a lot of them die.
They die. Well, it's not just because they die out of all out of just being there. They die because other critters come in and get them. Yeah.
Well, it's just the way of life.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it is for the human race too. Until we get to this point right now, where it's like it's very, very rare for an infant child to die unless you don't have the proper care.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking that it just feels like to me that if I bet you it would take a little while to get used to it again. But if we were to colonize Mars, if we were to get back to doing that, where the idea is that they would terraform it, it's someday, maybe a long time from now, where they can figure out the technology to do that. And if we started going there, then we would like resort back to like the way we're supposed to be. We'd be like, oh yeah, my you know what? My back hasn't hurt in months. Or when women give birth, they'd be like, it was no big deal.
Well, it's the same thing though, because the head's not going to be any smaller.
No, that part's not a big deal. But maybe what they're getting at is the gravity. The gravity is so much different that it's different for them to carry the baby. It's different.
I can see that.
Maybe it's that was what they're getting at. Maybe not the exact
birthing?
Birth part, but maybe the whole scenario of being pregnant and everything is probably way different if it was a different gravity situation.
Yeah.
Might be a big difference. And then back to the cataracts, it's like if we were on Mars, maybe the sun is different, maybe our sleep cycle, because a lot of us suffer from a sleep issue. Not everybody, but a lot of us suffer from a sleep issue.
Well, even then, it's kind of like unclear what exactly a good amount of sleep is. 7 hours, 8 hours.
But like they say, it's just I don't know all the facts about this, but when our guys are up there in space on the station, that they mentioned that they eventually resort to the same day cycle as Mars. I mean, exactly.
So what does that mean though? How do they resort to the day cycle of
Mars? Apparently, when the Earth spins around one time, that's our 24 hours.
Yeah.
And whatever the Earth or whatever the Mars one is different. It's like not quite 24. I don't know what it is.
I'll look it up.
Maybe it's 24, 25. It's a little different. I think it's a 25 hour.
I think it's close. I think it's around 25.
Yeah, and it's weird that it would just like naturally just resort to that, where they feel like their 24-hour cycle, or their 1 day cycle is 25 instead of 24, when that happens to be coincidentally the same as Mars. And so maybe biologically, genetically, we are inclined to be Martian.
Mars rotation is 24 hours and 39 minutes and 35 seconds.
So it's slightly longer, yeah.
Just by like
a little bit.
Yeah. But I know Earth's rotation, it's less than 24. It's like 23 point something.
Yeah.
So.
But when you're out there, like not on Earth, and let your body do it naturally, it resorts to the Martian time. Which is weird. So
yeah, 40 minutes slower than Earth.
Yeah, pretty odd.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So
yeah. What was the other thing? Because I know there were 3 things, weren't there? So it was the whole sunburn thing, the burn thing.
We burn like crazy, and the backaches. And the backaches would be because you think about it. It seems like an uncomfortable position for a monkey or a gorilla, but they're on their feet and their hands. But of course, their body is adjusted. I get it. They got long front arms, but everything. But you look at that arch in their back, and they never seem to be like walking around doing something with their holding their hand behind their back, like, oh, my back. All these other animals, just their body structure was built for this gravity.
Yeah.
Everything, elephants, giraffe, you name it. It seemed like it's natural.
Well,
and then when you look at us, well, we don't walk around on our hands and our feet except for the gorilla. And but even then, they say that the Bigfoot is another type of gorilla that has long legs, so it walks around on its hind legs. But when they look at the Bigfoot footage, they say that its knees and its hips and everything are still more like the gorilla, not like us. So we're still a separate species that walks on our feet, but not like the gorilla. The gorilla was still, that probably was something that was made that was a part of Earth from the beginning, and we're not. So we're very, very, very similar to that, but our walking around was meant for a lighter gravity, not this gravity. So
I just looked it online. So humans, birds, and occasionally apes walk bipedal. We are 100% bipedal. We don't ever put our hands on the ground to walk unless we're infants.
Mm-hmm.
So that has something to say with it right there. Is the fact that we are the only ones that are bipedal. That's I know with back issues there are certain ways proper. You know, the whole putting that lower limb bar or whatever thing. It helps. Why it is a deal, I don't know. It really shouldn't be. Besides the fact
only thing we could think of
is just bad posture.
The only thing we think of is that it's we're not really designed for this gravity.
Yeah, but
we do
but
it.
Some people are fine though.
Yeah.
Some people live through life without back problems. The only time they have back problems is when they get older. But by that time their body's degrading.
But why is that? Because we did work, you know. And what kind of work do we have to do when we're as humans? We have to do the yard work. We have to. If back in the day we'd have to toil soil and stuff like that. It's like that's not designed for our backs. If that was the case, we would have had a better design for our backs. We would have been more like the gorilla, where that wouldn't hurt. We'd have great arm strength, and imagine a gorilla with our mentality. The work that we could do would be so much better. Yet no, what we got is a stupid back and small arms, unless you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. But yeah, you know that's not the way it usually goes. I truly believe that we are a species that was from another planet placed here. We do well. You know, look around. It's like we're doing all right. But are we really from here? I really don't think so.
Well, apparently 9000 BC is when we started farming. This is when we started actually doing the whole labor and stuff like that. So 9,000, 12,000 years, that's not a whole lot of time to adapt to what we were doing. So before then, we weren't doing any of that.
So what we were just picking berries and killing things?
Yep, we were picking berries, killing things, and that was it.
Yeah.